morning, good morning. I hope everyone is feeling as chill as this guy back here. Oh man, for those of you on video, my dog is chilling in the background, full on out with the whole, my eyes are open, but my inner eyelid is closed. Puddles. Oh, there it is. Awesome. I see Allie. I'm going to let you in. Let's see how this goes. Hello, everyone joining. Here we are. Hello.
Hello?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We could get all the technology set up. Let me see. Sometimes it's hard when I have all the comments coming over your face, so I just want to swipe down. Okay. I also got a fancy mic, so if anything sounds like crackly, just let me know and I'll defer back to the regular
Okay.
mic.
That sounds good.
Awesome. So thank you for being here. So excited to chat. I know we've chatted in person, but I think it'll be really cool for whoever logs on to learn more about what you've got going on.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me and having me on this morning. I've never done this, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I love that. So many people have told me, like, I've never done an Instagram Live, and it's usually their first time with me. So I'm here for it. I have done it a handful of times and I'm still figuring it out. So it's all good.
I'm sure.
Yeah. All right. So for people that don't know you, can you share a little bit about how you're tied to the community and the work that you do?
Yeah. So my name is Allie. I'm involved in the community through therapeutic horseback riding. So I help run a therapeutic horseback riding center locally in Poway.
Awesome. And how long have you guys been there? I've been meaning to ask you that.
We've actually been there since 2014, so next year will be our 10-year anniversary.
Ah, so exciting. Wow, 10 years, that's a huge milestone, especially for a nonprofit. So,
I know, yeah, we were talking about it the other day. We just can't believe that it's been like almost 10 years already and, how far we've come, so it's pretty cool.
yeah, definitely. Time is a crazy thing. I always say to people that I can't believe how fast it goes when even, I mean, there's hiccups and things get hard at times, but when you're doing something you're passionate about and you really care about, and then you reflect back like, wow, I've been doing this like day in and day out for 10 years. So
Yeah,
kudos to you guys. That's
exactly.
really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And just so you know, I have the questions up on my laptop, so I'm going to be looking over.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and before you got on, I gave a shout out to my pup who was quite relaxed. So
Aw,
that's Puddles,
so
guest
cute.
star today.
Nap time.
Yeah. And you know what's so funny? Sorry, I'm going off the script here, but you can't see, but I'm wearing my RAD shirt. Um, and I've got Pokey, and he reminds me so much of Puddles,
Oh,
and
really?
like the coloring and the black and white, so
Oh, that's
and just
cute.
like the cuteness with the tongue out and all that. So
Yeah, love it.
too funny. All right, so let's talk about RAD, Right Above Disability. We all call it RAD for
Hmm.
short, and your role there, what you've kind of developed and what you're working on.
Yeah. So about probably a year and a half ago, I took over as the executive director. Before that, I was doing program and volunteer coordinating. And then I kind of switched roles. So now I do a lot of the fundraising, grant writing, event planning, going out into the community, doing presentations, letting, the community know about us and who we are and what we do. And then I also help with a lot of like the HR stuff, staff related things, and, just helping to make sure that everything runs smoothly for the business end of it.
Yeah, definitely. That's the nitty gritty. And did you start as an instructor or how did you end up there?
I did, yeah. So I actually, when I first got into therapeutic writing, I started as a volunteer. And then I was a volunteer for about probably 8 years at a different center. And then I kind of worked my way up. So I became a therapeutic writing instructor first, and then a program coordinator, and then program and volunteer director, and now executive director. I still teach, I think, 1 or 2 lessons per week, but with focusing on shifting my role, I've had to decrease my lessons just a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I totally get that struggle. But I think it's so important that the people that are making, big decisions and making plans of action know what it's like to be on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Boots on the ground, I always say, and to be passionate about the work that is being done versus someone coming in from the outside with this like executive hat on, right? And
That's
trying to make
true.
things super like structured and rigid. And in our community, like it's always evolving,
Yes.
right? And to know what the lessons look like and how families connect and how they feel within the sessions. And even staying, just having one session, a month, a week, keeps you connected to the purpose. So
Right.
that's awesome. Good
Yeah,
for you.
absolutely. I also try and shadow a lot of the other instructors and lessons as well, because I'm a certified mentor too for therapeutic writing. But then I also like to see, where their students are at, what they're doing. Sometimes the parents ask, or sometimes I'll do the social media posts so I can connect with the stories and their progress too. So that also helps me, kind of learn the ins and outs of the lessons as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's really great. Mentorship is definitely something that's a passion of mine. So
Yes.
that's really, and it's important, right? Like it's important for individuals and lesson instructors to have like this sounding board, right? Even for ourselves that are the mentor, right? Like sometimes it turns and we become the mentee while we're talking through clinical stuff or just brainstorming. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's
definitely.
awesome. Um, and on that topic, why don't you let me know how are lessons kind of tailored and customized to each individual? Maybe talk a little bit about how horses are chosen for the lessons. Give us a little more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So each time that a student wants to join the program, we have them fill out our intake paperwork, and anyone can ride as long as they're cleared medically by their doctor. And then once they have all of the paperwork, we actually invite them out for a little eval and tour of the ranch. So we introduce them to all of the horses, see how they interact, meeting the horses for the first time. Some students have never been near a horse or have anything to do with horses, and some are familiar. So we like to see how their interaction is. And then we also do a little evaluation to kind of see what horse might be the right fit for them, what instructor, because each instructor has a different teaching style. So based on each individual rider, we try and pair them with the instructor that we think would be the best fit. So that's also important to know your instructor's teaching style so you can pair them with the appropriate student. And depending on each rider, it's different. So some students and their parents want to come in and solely focus on riding skills, and they want this to be a recreational activity for them and focus on learning the aspects of horses, horse care, what to do if you had a horse. And then some students and parents come in and they want to focus more on therapy goals such as speech or OT and PT. So we try and incorporate that based on the goals that they give us in their intake paperwork, as well as sometimes we do work with OTs and PTs directly that they can give us some tips and tools for their individual client that we can try and incorporate in the lessons.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that so much. And I think that makes me flash back to when we first met and kind of how our relationship has evolved. And it's so important to take into account like the whole picture, right? Know what the student is participating in or working towards and what the family's goals are and what the individual's goals are. So I love that you even have that question on your intake form of like, hey, what goals are you working in some of your other therapies, and what's going on outside of this hour-long session or whatever it is.
Right.
And I want to highlight a little bit how open and receptive and engaging your staff, and everyone really was and has been. So for the listeners, I had gone in and shared a lot about like neurodiversity affirming approaches, and a lot of what I was sharing was already happening, which I love when that happens. And then when there was new content kind of brought up, your staff was so inquisitive about like, hey, tell me more, or like, why does this happen in the brain, or like, why is this sensory experience so overwhelming, right? So I really value individuals in the community, whether it's professionals, clinicians, parents, you know, whoever it is, that are open-minded and wanting to collaborate and learn from one another. And then that even goes on the other hand. So when you said something about when you were starting, when the students are starting, you kind of introduce them to the horses, and that was me. So I came to you guys and I was like, hey, like, I love animals. I know the benefits of animals, and not only for myself as a neurotypical person, but also for the neurodivergent community. So I just was not comfortable around big animals. I was like, oh my gosh, they're huge. Like, what if they step on my foot, or, you know, or I remember when I was younger, I grew up out east on Long Island. There's all these wineries, and one time I was at a winery for an event, and it's like, oh, a horse, and he just nommed right on my arm, and I was
Oh,
like,
really?
oh my gosh. And ever since, right? Like, all it takes is that one experience of like, horses aren't for me. But since coming to your ranch and coming with individuals that I work with, I've learned so much on how my body and how like even my regulation, the horses pick up on, I swear.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
they
yeah.
know, right? They
Mm-hmm.
can tell if if I'm feeling a little nervous, they, not that they get nervous, they are like a co-regulator for me,
Right.
right? Because they are therapeutic riding
Yeah.
horses. And it's been really beautiful to see, specifically one individual that I go with there frequently, how their experience brings out so much in them and helps
Mm,
them show up so much more than if we were, you know, just running regular errands or doing other things out in the community.
true.
Um, so yeah, it's been really amazing for me to come from this space of knowing the benefits and then experiencing them firsthand,
Yeah.
both as a neurotypical individual and then supporting neurodivergent individuals. So I want to highlight that.
Yeah, we hear from volunteers, you know, all the time how this is therapy for them, and just being around the horses, and, you know, even just being in the stalls with them, next to them, it's like that therapeutic feel and aspect about the ranch. So I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and I know I highlight the horses, but the people too are always so welcoming, and it takes a lot to build a team like that, you know? So
Yes.
kudos to everyone on the team, everyone leading the team, everyone, you know, learning from one
Yeah.
another. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So speaking of volunteers, I know you guys are heavily like driven by volunteers and the support you get from the community, whether it's like actual time or donations or volunteering at like farmers markets and different events you have going on. So let me know about any events you have coming up, anything you have going on the ranch. If you need volunteers, let us know more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we always need volunteers. As you mentioned, most of our organization is driven by volunteers. And if we didn't have the volunteer support, we wouldn't be able to run the program. Each lesson typically needs about 2 to 3 people helping, and we usually have about 4 to 5 lessons going at one time. So you can imagine just how many volunteers we need for that one time slot. And then volunteers also help besides lessons. They'll help with ranch work, horse care, feeding the horses, getting them ready for lessons. Some volunteers help in the office, so just with admin, helping with paperwork and helping fundraising and helping write grants. So there's also the admin part of it. And then, yes, like you mentioned, special events. So we try and get out in the community, and we have a group of individuals who love to do the farmers market. So that's Saturdays in Poway. We try and go once a quarter. And then we also have done the Poway Fall Festival, which was awesome. Coming up in December, we have one more farmers market that I believe we could use some help with. And then We're also doing Mary's Tack and Feed is like an equine pet store in Del Mar. And every year they do a holiday gift wrapping, and they invite local charities to come out and gift wrap, and then all of the tips and donations go straight to the nonprofit. So that will be, I think, December 16th and 17th. So if anyone's interested in helping at that event, you don't need horse experience. You can be completely independent from RAD. Maybe you like to gift wrap and you can come out and help us out. So that would be great as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I just wrote that down. 16th and 17th. I'll share with anyone I know as well.
Yeah.
It's funny, certain people, this is totally a tangent, but my husband is so great at wrapping paper,
Really?
like making the corners fit so perfectly. So I feel like there's people like that would just like thrive.
Yeah.
And then there's me that's like ripping the paper off because I can't get it to fold. So,
yeah, see?
if you're a great rapper and you're into nice seams,
yeah,
we need you, right?
yeah, see, he might want to join then.
Yeah, so true. Oh man, I love it. I'm just reading some comments someone had shared. My friend who owns a horse once shared that her horse was so receptive that the horse was picking up on a big storm coming up. Horses are incredible. Yeah, do you ever see that? I mean, we don't get that many storms in San Diego, but do you feel like they're in tune to bigger things?
Oh, yeah, they can tell. Like usually the day before a storm, if it's kind of like eerie or maybe a little cloudy or dark, they can kind of pick up on that. They'll start looking around, or they can hear things, from the wind blowing that we can't hear, or they can feel the ground better than we can. So they just kind of feel those sensation and vibes coming through. So they definitely pick up on stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I didn't even think about like feeling the earth, right? Or
Yeah.
like even the breeze, right? I think the last time I was there, it didn't rain. It was last week, and it was like cloudy and breezy, and we were joking. We were like, yeah, some horses are feeling that it's coming, or like you could see as we were interacting with them, they like heard or felt something that we didn't. So yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, we're always like, what are you looking at? Because they see something or they hear something, and we try and look around to see what they're looking at, because sometimes we just can't tell, but they can see it or hear it in the distance, further than we can.
Yeah, that's really, really neat. So cool. I think about that actually. I wonder if it'll happen with my dog. So anytime, because of COVID and like all the Zoom meetings I had, he knows when I'm wrapping up a Zoom meeting, even before I say the word. I'm not even gonna say it right now because he's so peaceful right now, but we'll see. As we're wrapping up, he'll like jump up and like walk over to my office door, like, okay, we're done. Where are we going? So it's so interesting how they like just learn those routines or feel things that we can't.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, really cool. Awesome. All right. So we've got two more questions.
Sure.
The last question this next question is really what I ask everyone that jumps on here. Our big thing is that we support individuals to rise and shine as their best selves. And I know that the work we do is sometimes heavy, a lot of work, right? Especially in like a nonprofit, it takes a lot of time that is outside of a 9 to 5, right? And especially when we're so passionate about it, it's like always on our minds. So what is something that you do to find that balance and help you kind of rise and shine?
Yeah, it's funny. We were actually just talking about this with some of our staff the other day because they commented on how I work a lot. But for me, it's not work. I enjoy doing all of the admin and horse related things, as well as rising and shining for the students. I mean, they're my purpose and being there and doing all this, but I also feel like you need balance. So I try and, for me personally, my balance is traveling or going on vacation. So I work hard during the year, and then I typically will go on about 2 or 3 trips if we're closed for or have a off week.
Okay, dude.
Be somebody.
I don't know if you heard. Hey. Okay. All done.
Okay. You heard something that we didn't hear.
Oh, that one was very clear. That was an Amazon. Poor timing. Oh my goodness. I love that. I love when I hear people who serve saying, right, like part of what helps me rise up are the individuals I serve. And I can relate to that so much. And it's just like, I feel like you can't explain that to someone that doesn't feel that same
True.
intensity of like, it's just
Yeah.
like, it's in me, right? And
Yeah.
it was never anything like when I was younger, I wasn't like, this is exactly what I was going to do. You know, I just knew there was like this bigger thing I wanted to do. And once I found it, I was like, oh, like this is it. And I'm never stopping thinking about it. So
Yeah, that's a
I feel you.
big thing.
Yeah. Do you have any trips planned? Anywhere fun that you'll be going?
I do, yeah. For the first next year, the first quarter, I'm going to Hawaii for 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness, Hawaii. That is awesome. Beautiful. Good
Yeah.
for you. That's a nice relaxing place. There was something else I was going to say, but Puddles is dysregulating me. Um, okay, if it comes back to me, it'll come back to me. But I did want to highlight there's a few big Miss Allie fans and RAD fans on here. We've got someone, Chazzy07. I've been riding at RAD since 2019, and it's a free place to be. I
Awesome.
love that description. Free place. Yeah.
Yes. Very true.
Yeah. And you know what? It's amazing. Like, I've lived in Poway for quite a few years now, and it's just like just down the road. And when you get there, it's just this vastness, right? Like the meadow and the field right behind you and the
Yeah.
hills. It's just like it is. It's very freeing and open. So that was a great word to describe it.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Okay, we've got a question. I'd love to volunteer my time to help your facility, but I have young children. Would they be able to assist in farming care? They are 2 and 3. How does that work?
So actually our youngest age is 14 due to insurance purposes and liability being around the horses. But once they, turn 14, they can definitely come out with you and everything.
Yeah, I was thinking like little bodies and big animals make me nervous. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, good to know. We'll start the countdown, Jess, on when they could get up there. I'm sure they would love it.
Yeah. But they can come, we just had an open house in October. So any of our events, that are geared towards families and little kids, you guys are definitely more than welcome to bring them out. Just the volunteer end is 14.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. And then we have a Maddie saying, "Hey, Miss Allie." As he said, life is rad. I love it. So cool. All right. Well, the last question is really just if there's anything you wanted to add or where people can find more and like register and sign up or even go through volunteer trainings. What's the best way to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're active on Facebook, Instagram. We have a website, very easy, radtrc.org. You can contact us at any time. Volunteering, we usually have a training once every other month. So there's about 6 or 7 per year. So always an opportunity to get involved. We also have an Amazon wish list. So if you're looking to make a donation in regards to things that we're wishing for, you can do that as well. Donations definitely help drive the program and keep us moving forward. You can do that right on our website. We also do tours, ranch tours, and usually I do those. If you're interested in learning more or want to come out and see what we're doing and watch the students ride, you can contact me, and we'd love to have you out.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys have always been so welcoming and in so many different avenues and ways. So I definitely appreciate that. And I'm so grateful we connected whenever it was and how, our relationship has evolved and how we keep crossing paths in the community. It's been really fun.
I know. We actually just had one of our staff members ask for you to come back out again. So we'll have to set that up and, you can give us some tips and tools again.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah. Definitely. Oh, we have a good question here. Chazzy's asking, Allie, how did you find the ranch originally?
Yeah, good question. So it was actually Katie and Wayne. When we first started RAD, I was working full time and at a different job, and Katie and Wayne actually drove around to different ranches all over the county. And when they stopped at Rolling Hills, the owner was very receptive because she has a child with autism. So she was totally behind the mission 100% and into it from day one. So they have been amazing. And we have been there solely for 10 years now.
Really cool. I did not know that
Yeah.
story. That's really, really neat.
Just
Yeah.
driving around asking, like,
Yeah.
hey, you guys want a therapeutic riding center here?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I think that sometimes that's, I mean, most of the time, that's how like the best connections are made, right? Like real in-person connection. And I think sometimes that could get lost in our very technology-driven world. So that's a good reminder of staying connected within our community, not only through all the wonderful avenues we have digitally, but also just like rolling by a place
Yeah.
and meeting people or sending a handwritten card, all those good things of staying connected in those really like deeper level ways. So
Right. Networking and, just connecting with the community and, getting out there pretty much.
yeah, awesome. Well, cool. I will be sure when I post this, we share it on YouTube and Instagram, and I'm working on getting a podcast up. So
Oh, cool.
in all the descriptions, I will link your website and for how people can find you.
Okay, yeah. That sounds wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time, everyone that joined. Thanks for being here and for all the great questions.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, take care. Enjoy your weekend.
Okay,
Oh, look,
you.
see, he got up. He got up. It happened. He's over by my door.
Yes. Oh my God. So
All right,
smart.
I'll see ya. Bye.
Okay, bye.